Hi everybody, morning. Coming to you live from my office in Costa Rica. I'm Sally Ella Horn. I'm a mindset and hypno coach. And I just realized I haven't put anything about what this is about. I'm sorry, I will edit that afterwards. My live today is about your negative judgments. Okay. Apologies for that. I should do that afterwards. So if you're joining me live, then say hi. I'd love to connect. And yeah, it's all about your negative judgments today and how to clear them, how to get in touch with them and how to clear them. Now, 2 weeks ago, I spoke about the importance of your feelings, how your feelings are much more important than your thoughts most of the time, although there's a lot of teachings out there that are telling you it's all down to your thoughts. And then last week I talked about expressing your emotions and how that is really important too. And I gave you some tips about that. So following on from that, today's going to be all about clearing your negative judgments. Now, negative judgments, what happens when you have a negative judgment is you create a dense energy around whatever it is you're judging, whether that's you or hi Una, or your relationship, or your day, your commute, meeting that you've got, whatever it is. However you're judging it, it gets stuck in that energy. The more you keep doing it, the more it will get stuck in that energy. Now, why is this? Because behind that negative judgment is a strong negative emotion. So this is not the same as your negative self-talk. And I know a lot of women, you've got a handle on that. Okay, you're very careful how you talk to yourself and so on. This is not the same. This is your negative judgments that come from a strong negative emotion that you might not even be aware of. Okay, so the more you are judging, let's say it's you, the more you are judging yourself in this negative feeling, with this negative emotion, the more it will you will get stuck in that denser negative energy field, and that then becomes your reality. Because as I spoke about before, we create our reality through our beliefs and our feelings, not so much our thoughts. Okay, again, there's this erroneous belief that what you think you attract. No, the law of attraction is what you feel is what you attract. So if you are stuck in any way, hi Trina, if you are stuck in any way or unfulfilled, frustrated, then the likelihood is you have negative judgments that are blocking you, okay, that are preventing you from moving on. And it can be very frustrating because, like I said, very often we're not in touch with what that is, but it's holding you back, okay? Just having my green tea. I need a bucket of green tea in the mornings. So, like I said, this is not the same as your negative self-talk. And I'll give you an example. I had a client and she meditated regularly. She had a general positive outlook, and she's very careful with her self-talk, and she had health issues. And she couldn't understand it. So when we looked into it, when we went a bit deeper, we discovered that she had this negative judgment of her body being in battle all the time. So for her, in her subconscious, she was in battle with her body. And then when we looked at that and looked at the emotion behind it, it was anger. She had a lot of anger from childhood that she'd suppressed, and that was the emotion that was driving this negative judgment about her body, about the battle with her body. Okay, so just uncovering that for her and diffusing the anger. We did a little bit more work on that because there was a lot of suppressed anger, so that had to be expressed, and then we diffused the anger in this particular situation towards her body. And honestly, immediately she felt different. And within a few days, she had much less pain, she had much more energy, and so on. And she just went from strength to strength. So these judgments can be really holding you back, and you might not even be aware of them. All right. So we're going to talk about how to clear them. So step one is to list all your judgments. Okay. Now, to help you with this, and I encourage you to do it about yourself. Like I say, you might think you've got a good handle on your negative self-talk. You might talk positively to yourself and work on your self-esteem and so on. Still might be something hidden there. So think about, for example, when you get up in the morning, perhaps when you're taking a shower and you're looking in the mirror or getting dressed, whatever. What is that judgment? What are those judgments? And it might not be like a voice in your head saying something. It might be, for some of you, it might be. It might just be this negative feeling, of, oh, I look old. Or you might be thinking about your day coming up, your work, and, oh, I'm useless. Something like that. And so, yeah, so think about those times when you're more sort of aware of you and your body, maybe looking at yourself in the mirror and so on, and see what comes up for you, and write it down, write everything down. I have another client, a recent client, who she's absolutely lovely, and she said, I've been doing affirmations for 25 years and I'm not getting anywhere. And because she had a very abusive relationship, she learned how to completely cut herself off from her feelings, from her emotions. So of course, when she was doing her affirmations, she wasn't putting any feeling into the affirmations. Then they don't work. Just saying stuff, just thinking stuff, when your emotions are not on board, just means that you end up feeling like you're arguing with yourself. And then affirmations are pretty ineffective. And we had to really dig deep for her to be able to get in touch with those feelings, because she'd suppressed them and cut off them for so long. She didn't even know that she had these really negative judgments about her uselessness, as she perceived it. And that is constantly what was in her energy field, that she's useless, she's useless, she's useless. Okay, very, very negative, and keeping her stuck. So that's your first step. Try to get in touch with those negative judgments and write everything down that comes to mind. And then you'll see that there might be one or two quite dominant ones. Or when you look at your list, there might be one or two that feel like really heavy. Like, oh, I didn't realize that was there. And so those are the ones I'd encourage you to work on. All right, so that's step number one. Now, step number two is to identify the negative emotion that's behind it, that's driving that judgment. Identify the emotion so that you can then diffuse it. Now, so what might be the negative emotion? It might be guilt. It might be shame. Very often as women, we'll have had an experience when we were very young that caused us to feel ashamed of our body, ashamed of our feelings, whatever. So it might be that guilt or shame, loss of your self-esteem. That's another big one. Rejection, like I said before, anger, fear. It might be fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of abandonment, something like that. And and worthlessness. Okay, that's another quite common one. So take your judgments and try to identify the emotion behind it. There will be probably one overriding one. You might have several that you can work on individually. Usually there's one sort of fairly common dominant one. All right. So once you've got in touch with that emotion, let's say it's shame, okay, then the next thing to do is to your subconscious mind, just to put this into context, your subconscious mind has recorded absolutely everything that's ever happened to you, okay, and knows everything about you. So there will be an event, an experience in the past when you first felt this emotion, the origin of this emotion, this strong negative emotion. And so if you can find that in your subconscious mind or get very close to it, then you can adjust it and diffuse it. All right. So you use your imagination to create a different reaction, a different response. So I do this in hypnosis with my clients, and I teach self-hypnosis. So you can do this yourself. If you're used to meditating, then you just need to go into a meditative state. Very, very helpful to go to the alpha level. I'm sure a lot of you know what that is, but for those who don't, most of our waking hours, our brain waves are functioning at beta, and then a slower brain wave is alpha, and then it goes deeper and so on. And at the alpha level, you can more easily access your subconscious mind. So this just means slowing down your brain waves, focusing your attention, and then you go into the alpha level. So a quick trick to help you with that is to look up as if you're looking into your eyebrows. Okay, now this has a physiological effect of slowing down your brain waves, and that's why it's used at times in hypnosis. Okay, because it can help you to quickly go into that alpha level, slow down your brain waves. All right, so I recommend that you look up, keep your eyes open for 3 deep breaths. Take 3 nice deep breaths, and then after 3 breaths, then you can just gently let your eyes closed. And then another great way to help you to go deeper is to count down from 10 to 1. If you're very, very new to this, I would recommend you start at 20, something like that. Or you can see yourself at the top of a flight of stairs, 10 stairs, and slowly go down the stairs, counting as you go. Okay, that would just help you to go a little bit deeper. So once you're at the alpha level, then you're going to ask your mind to show you a time when you felt this strong negative emotion. Okay? And like I said, your mind knows everything about you. So take whatever comes to mind and go with it. And for some of you, it will be very visual. You will see the experience. For others, it may be more of a feeling, and you might have audio. Okay, so again, go with whatever it is, and then what you're going to do is take the experience and you're going to change it, because we always have an element of choice. Yes, our reactions are driven by our beliefs and our emotions, but there is still always an element of choice. So you take that experience and in your mind, you change your response. You change it to a positive one. Or if it's a very negative situation, maybe just a neutral one. And if there are other people, if other people were involved in this experience, then change how they respond also. Like, for example, and if well, let's take bullying. Okay, I take that one because that's what happened to me. So you can see that experience and those bullies, whoever it was, see them responding in a different way. Okay, so you're changing the experience in your mind. You are imagining a better response, and you can imagine others who are part of the experience having a better response also. So it can be a positive response or a neutral one. All right, so you do that in your mind, and then you ask your mind to bring you back to the future, to the present. And as you're coming back, you're just clearing out any other repetitions of when you felt that strong emotion. I used the example shame, okay? Because your mind can do all that in seconds, in absolute seconds. All right? Just trust it and go with it. And then what you'll find is you've diffused this strong feeling of shame, okay? You'll have changed that experience in your mind. And your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. And this is not to negate anything traumatic that's happened to you, not at all. And depending on your circumstances, we might take that and deal with it in a different way. But for this purpose of this live, I just want to help you with your negative judgments that are holding you back, because I don't want you to be held back any longer. So those are the steps, okay? First one is to list your negative judgments. The second is to identify the emotion and get your mind to take you back to a time when you first felt that negative emotion and change the experience. All right? Change the experience. You have the power to do that in your mind, in your imagination. Okay, then that will make a huge difference. That will really diffuse that emotion. But step 3, step 3, just to reinforce it, then what I recommend is that you make a list of all the things that you like about yourself, that you love about yourself, that makes you special, where you're very talented, where your gifts are. Maybe think of a situation where you really excelled, a major achievement, something you're really proud of. Make a list of a few things, and then choose 1 or 2 that really stand out, that really make you feel good, and make that into a positive statement. So an affirmation, if you like. I don't use the word affirmation. So make it into a positive statement and put some feeling into it. So it might be something like, I am absolutely worthy and the universe and I know it, or everybody knows it, something like that. And so this is then going to be your positive statement that you memorize. You might want to memorize 2 or 3, and you're going to use this when you have any remnants of that negative judgment coming up. And it's not enough to just say it or think it. As I said before, and I always say, you have to have your feelings on board. So say that you were very proud of an achievement, or there's something you really love about yourself. So infuse your statement with that feeling. So it might be love or pride. Pride can be a positive feeling. For me, always my go-to, as I think I've said before, is gratitude. Gratitude is such a high vibration, and it's very easy to feel it, to feel gratitude. Sometimes we struggle with love, especially self-love. So, but gratitude is much easier to really feel. So that's often what I will infuse into my positive statement, will be gratitude. So that's your third step, is to list all the things you love about yourself, that you're proud of, that your achievements, what you're great at, and then make 1, 2, or 3 positive statements that you can memorize and infuse with a positive vibe. Okay? And that is going to help you to come on in leaps and bounds. And you may be surprised when you start looking at the negative judgments of what pops up for you. Now, I've encouraged you to do it about yourself because I see so often with my clients that they think they've done a lot of work on themselves, and they have for sure, but there can be stuff lurking, and particularly stuff that we don't want to look at. I mean, and we're taught this, you know, this is programming that, ooh, mustn't feel that, and nice girls don't get angry, and nice girls don't feel jealous or envy or whatever, and all that suppression just makes it worse, and then we tend to push it down or put it behind us. We think, you know, putting it behind us is getting rid of it. It's not, it's still there. So that's why I encourage you to do it for yourself. And if you have, hi April, sorry I didn't see you'd come on. If you have any issue that's going on in your life right now where you feel particularly stuck, maybe a relationship or work, then I encourage you to really focus on your judgments about that and see where you are keeping that situation, that circumstance, stuck in that negative energy by the constant judging, the emotional, often subconsciously emotional judging. Okay, so I know that may be a lot to take in for you, for some of you, but you can play this video again. And apologies that I didn't put any title. I'm going to go and do that right now when I end, and I will also transcribe this this live later on in the week, and I think I'll check with April. I think we're going to put it in files, just so for those of you that find it easier maybe to read the steps of how to do it. Okay, and if you've got any questions for me, then please pop them in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, I'll pop by later and answer any questions, or you can reach out to me personally. You can private message me or send me an email to info@sallyellahorn.com. Okay, I'd love to help. If you're struggling with anything around this, I'm here to help, absolutely. So don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so I hope that's helped, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. And I'll be here again, same time next Tuesday, 12 Eastern time. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.